Welcome back, Sebastian here. So time for my review for sprint qualifying, the sprint shootout for the sprint race for the US Grand Prix this afternoon, I guess. So for sprint qualifying one, sunny conditions, 32 degrees Celsius, not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, but a decent amount of wind as well. And yesterday, listening to the interviews after qualifying, some of the drivers were complaining quite a bit about the wind and how difficult it made it to drive, and how instead of going for the perfect lap, the drivers were basically trying to minimize mistakes, just like in valley or in wet conditions. So that kind of made it a bit interesting. Now, for sprint qualifying one, medium tires were mandatory, as they would be in sprint qualifying two. For the first runs, Piastri, Sargent, Stroll, Ricciardo, and Magnussen were the bottom five, and Verstappen was on top. McLaren go for a second push lap right away, so they kind of go in the gap to set their faster laps, and those times easily get them into the safe zone. Final laps of sprint qualifying one, Tsunoda misses the checkered flag to set a lap. So basically they all go out trying to go across the checkered flag to start their final lap right before the checkered flag goes, and sometimes they misjudge it, and Tsunoda misjudged it in this case, so he was not able to improve his time. So bottom five drivers knocked out were Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Bottas, Tsunoda, and Sargent, who are all out in sprint qualifying one. Bit of a funny radio message when Leclerc came on the radio saying penalty for Mr. Russell. Very formal language when you've been blocked by another driver. I know Hamilton was complaining about being blocked as well by an AlphaTauri, I believe Tsunoda, but this one was definitely going to be under investigation. There was a message that came up from the FIA. So that hasn't been announced yet, but almost certainly will be a penalty. In the sprint qualifying two we go. Mandatory medium tires, only 8 drivers go out for their first push laps. The other drivers were only doing one lap, and they were doing it at the end. So the bottom 5 drivers of the drivers who had set a lap time were Zhou, Stroll, Piastri, Perez, and Norris. So of course, most of those drivers, some of those drivers got into sprint qualifying 3. Verstappen on his final lap had a bit of a 360 moment, had a bit of a snap of oversteer on the exit of turn 10, I believe, and basically that kind of as he approached the exit curb for that corner, it basically really unstabilized the car, and he made a little pirouette 360 spin on the grass. But that lap was ruined, but not really much harm for him, given he had already set a benchmark time. So the 5 drivers out in sprint qualifying 2 were Ricciardo, Alonso, Ocon, Stroll, and Zhou. So Ricciardo qualifying 11th is a pretty decent result for him. Both Aston Martins knocked out in Q2, which I guess is better than both of them being knocked out in Q1, but still not great for Alonso, especially when he's been qualifying pretty in the bottom half of Q3 most races recently. Into the final part of qualifying, sprint qualifying 3, Verstappen looks like he has some traffic on his flying lap, but it doesn't hurt him. He sets a purple sector 1, but Norris does better, so very, very close between Verstappen and Norris. Verstappen then sets purple sector 2 with Norris only a little bit off him. Leclerc coming through also was very, very close, but for Verstappen, his lap time was 1:34.538, which put him on provisional pole. Norris was a 10th off, so Norris lost a bit of time in sectors 2 and 3. Leclerc, through 2 sectors, was only 5 thousandths of a second off, but at the end he was 5/100ths off or so. To be second provisionally, Hamilton, second last driver to cross the line, goes 600ths off, so basically 700ths off. Very, very close between the top 3 to go third on the grid. So very, very close session, especially at the end. Good to see, and no one's laps were deleted for track limits, which is also nice to see. So your grid for the sprint later today: Verstappen first, Leclerc second, Hamilton third, fourth Norris, fifth Piastri, sixth Sainz, seventh Perez, and eighth Russell provisionally. With a 3-place grid penalty that would be expected for him, that would be dropping him down to, let's see, 11th, I would say. Yeah, that would be 11th, and then promoting Ricciardo to the top 10. 9th Albon, 10th Gasly, 11th Ricciardo, 12th Alonso, 13th Ocon, 14th Stroll, 15th Zhou, 16th Hulkenberg, 17th Magnussen, 18th Bottas, 19th Tsunoda, and 20th Sargent. So that's qualifying done. Both qualifying sessions, qualifying and sprint qualifying today. If I had to pick a session, I'd probably pick this one. I think the times were quite a little bit closer here. Of course, not having a lap time deleted that was good enough for provisional pole, I think makes the end result a little bit better. Drivers were generally pretty good at keeping it clean, and except for Verstappen's 360, there weren't really a whole lot of moments. So for the sprint, I think Verstappen's going to really be the favorite, as always, in any kind of racing conditions this year. But it'll be interesting to see if Leclerc or Hamilton can take, or Norris for that matter, can take the fight to him. Another thing will be what tires the drivers decide to start on. In Qatar, which was pretty hard on the tires, the drivers that started on the medium tires generally did a bit better, even if they were lost a bit coming off the line. So it'll be interesting to see what drivers decide to do, what teams decide to do, and what the end result is. I'm expecting most drivers to try to start on the hards, as I think it will be the better tire, given that Coda is traditionally pretty hard on its tires. So that's all for my sprint shootout review. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Who do you think had a really good session, and who do you think's the favorite for the sprint? Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.